Round 23 and the best buys. Now, there's a clear best buy up top, Jaden Campbell at 1.18%, and it is Tuesday night, so limited amount of people coming in and out of teams at this stage now that Team List Tuesday is just kind of dropped there, and hopefully you've gone and checked that video or Mitch's one with myself there. That would be super appreciated. Now, both Fermor, Kaipis Paul, Kiraz, Preston, Haas, even being brought in here at 0.53, with Cleary at 0.5. So plenty of options here. You can see all the tabs on my screen. There's lots of guys to speak about, and the who's not list, we'll talk about the holds and the sells tomorrow. So let's get into the hooking position, and Samuel Healey at 282k is the cash down of the week in the hooking position. But the question is going to be, how long does it last with Egan being out? Do they just give Egan the 1 week rest? Is he going to get longer than that? We are unsure. So Healey is definitely a risk, but as you can see here, 39 in 47 minutes, a 50 in 61 minutes is a terrific scoring profile. He looks great running the footy, so you can see that in both those games, 70 plus meters, and is in terrific form. So he's the fun one down there. Now, getting to the higher price guys, we've got Watson, we've got Blake Brayley, we've got Kurt Donoghoe there, and Harry Grant. They are the 4 players that you can pick from that, and the reason why I'm not mentioning Aaron Clark in here, because he's very, very highly owned. So we are looking to make moves, and we're trying to work out which one's going to be best. So in terms of the 4 available, Harry Grant, a decent chance of getting rest. Kurt Donoghoe, I don't think so. Blake Brayley, yes. When he gets the rest, it's going to be 1 week in form of their bye in round 25. And Connor Watson, I don't think so. They're going to be fighting for the 8, and he'll be a very, very important cog in the machine. But the worry with Watson is going to be the minutes. Now, if he's a 60 or close to it minute guy, like that 57 minutes on the weekend, that can be troublesome and can be worrying, because if the game doesn't suit him, then he's a chance of going a little bit under that. And when I say a little bit under that, there's chances of him going 40 and stuff like that in these minutes. So that's the big thing here. He has been named currently to start, but that could change very quickly. He picked up a line break assist, 4 tackle breaks, an offload to hand, and 2 turnover tackles. So you can see there, it's the highest turnover tackles of the year. It's his third highest tackle bust of the year. And he's only had like 5 offloads so far. So a very, very high number of attacking stats, which is great in this game, but I don't know if that's going to be reliable, and how often will he get near 60 minutes. He can change positions. There's a few things not in his favour. So that's where Watson is the worry for me at 670 at that big price. Now, I'd personally go for Donoghoe over Watson for that reason. So let's speak about Donoghoe now. At 655, very similar price point. The hooker and half duel, so has that compared to the mid duel with Watson. But near 80 minutes is going to be the name of his game. You can see here, he has 5 scores in his last 6 games of 59 or above, which is impressive. And most of them are in really good minutes. He had 59 minutes for that 59 in round 15, but it included a try. Now, the last 2 weeks have been the big thing for him. No attacking stats, just massive tackle numbers. And he's done that 3 weeks in a row, to be fair, 50 plus in all 3. Has a running game as well, which is going to give him an opportunity to have tackle breaks, offloads, and obviously tries as well. And their run is completely fine. So I think Kurt is one of the better picks of the week, and I'd be very, very confident in purchasing him at 655. But as you'll see through this video, I'll be going through different guys around 600, 580, these types of price points, 550 and the like. The reason for this is more for, personally, I'm looking at that range, and I kind of have to, because I think even if I make 3 trades, my second and third trade, which aren't like specifically positional based, I think I have like 625 for each of the 2 players. So that range there can be a little bit difficult to fill, and it's hard to go up to one of these guys like Kurt and then go down to like an under 600k guy, which we'll speak to. So Kurt, I think, is the best in this position for all the reasons just mentioned. And then say like everyone else, SC Experience put a nice thing up there. Blake Brayley at 762k. I think I watched that the other day. That's why it's in my head. But him at 762 is very, very expensive. Now, he's going very, very well, but he does have that buy remaining. You can see that every week in the last 4 has been over 50. He has the 44, 68, and an 89 as well. So great numbers for him. He has a couple of nice matchups to come still, but has the bye. So does that one hurt you given you're getting lower on trades, and do you have the cash available to get to Blake? I'm not sure. So I think Kurt, a safer pick, maybe less upside than what Blake has, but yeah, he's still in that good range. And then Harry Grant, you have him, I think I have him slightly ahead of Brayley in this one. 100k cheaper, a 50% chance of having a rest, I'd say, if they're trying to lock in that top four, which it looks like they'll probably be able to do. But a home final as well is something important to the Storm boys, and picked up a 53 on the weekend, had 2 good scores before that, so he still has plenty of upside, and we know he is still Harry Grant, and he'll have to have good games, but it is also against some tougher opponents, so that's where he's a step below Kurt, in my opinion. There misses a few more tackles as well. Now Payne Haas, he's still going to be one of the most effective players in our game with the massive upside, so you have to consider him regardless of injury and all the rest. What last week did was actually help him heal his back and give that more of a rest, which he's had 2 good rests over the last, his last, outside of round 21, his last game was round 17. And yes, he played Origin in that sort of the week and a half after that. So he's had 3 games in like 6 weeks, which is pretty good overall for someone like him, who we know can go back to back to back, really, really strong efforts. And he has the upside. Break even's fine. Like, he's got a couple of lower style games, but we know even here in 49 minutes that he can do the business. Right now, the Broncos are in a position where I think that if he's okay, good minutes are there for him and Carrigan. So I have him still as a really good pick, and probably not a captaincy option. You can see here, owned by almost everyone. So I'm probably talking to people. It doesn't matter. And anyone who doesn't have him is kind of bringing him in. So same rules apply for Carrigan. I think the minutes are going to be there, and very low ownership. So he can have really good games. You saw on the weekend that he managed to pick up a 56 in a game where they absolutely smashed them. So he didn't have to be involved in too much of the base stats. So for him, for the rest of the year, I think very, very unlikely they rest their players. And at a good price point is a great pick this week that you can rely on. Lindsay Smith is the fun one, right? So with Isaiah out, could be a couple of weeks. We don't know with him. And we know Lindsay Smith does step up and play some good minutes when the big dogs are out. So he played 71 minutes for a 60 in round 12. In round 16 there, unfortunately, only a 35. So a real bad one there. Following Origin, the next one, he scored a try in 50 minutes. So it kind of is a little bit all over the shop. And they have guys like IPap. You've seen Sorensen and these players go onto the bench this week. So I think if you've got anywhere near this amount of money, most people don't own Paddy. I still get Paddy in this one. If it was near 600k, it'd be a different story, looking at, for me and my side. But when you've got other options like that, it's hard to jump on. And now Stefano, with back-to-back really good weeks, he has to be thought of. 68 and 73. 1 try in that time frame, but big run meters. And the question is going to be, does he continue to do that? And can we see some type of consistency? Because this year he hasn't done it. Last year, he didn't do it either. Like, he started really well from round 3, 4, 5, 6, all in a row, and then went poor again, and then had a couple of good weeks again, fell away. So he has that trend in him. I'm not sure if he's going to keep it, but he's definitely someone you could take a punt on. No ownership at all, and can score really well. Now, IPap I was a little bit more excited about until I saw that, like, it could change, definitely, on game day, like we saw, in previous weeks, with Liam Martin going to the bench, IPap starting on the edge and then playing lots of middle. My worry now is that with Liam Henry back and with Sorensen returning on the bench, that minutes for IPap might be around the 50, and we can see here across the season for him, he's played a lot of 40-minute games, which he has done at starting lock here in round 16. He played 58 minutes in round 20 for a 48, which is fine. But if you're buying IPap at price at 44, I think you're wanting 50 as an average. And if you can get that, I think you'll be very happy with dual position and likely, I think, to play out the rest of the year. But it would be a risk at 588. So if that's as high as you can get to, it's going to be fine. Like, he's averaging 45 for the year, and with Yo out, that only helps a little bit for him with a big minute middle out of the rotation, but definitely risky. Jamin Jolliffe, 609k. I do really like him, but probably that Warriors clash in round 25. I expect we'll see Tino back. Maybe the round 26, but most likely probably, and maybe round 24, but most likely round 25 there. And you can see there that the scores are incredible. over the last month since Tino's had some trouble, but good minutes for JJ since round 13 as well, in games where, he's moved from the interchange, and in games where Tino has been in and out and stuff like that, he's managed to go really well. And if you just look in general, actually, for him to play over 50 minutes, which has happened over a few years now, he's a 58-minute, 50.8 scorer. And you look at 2025, when he's gone over 50 minutes, he's a 51 guy. And when in 2024, in the same 62 minutes, he was a 54 guy. So priced at 45, you're going to get the consistency out of him. It's just the question about how many weeks will he play massive minutes. And the good news is he's been doing it for a while now. Even when Tino's been in and out the side, that's been the positive part of it. You see there round 14 and round 17, he played 51 minutes, but it was a bit lower when Tino was there. So there's question marks around it, definitely. And he has a 21 in the game, so a 28 in his game. So it's an interesting one. Not a slam dunk pick, and I'm looking at him myself, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull the trigger on it. Now, Jermaine Hopgood, 518k. He's just like one of the cheapest of the lot, which is the good part about it for him at that fun price there. And when you price to 39 and sort of looking at that bench, it's very likely that minutes are available. Seeing it, he's gone under 50 and it's 50 on the dot over the last 3 weeks. So you're not like getting him at an absolute steal, but you're getting him at somewhat value and unlikely to get a rest for the remainder of the year. The risk there is just that he plays like 50 minutes and his PPM is a bit dodged and he just scores near the low 40s and isn't really an upgrade for you. So that's the worry with Hopgood at the moment. We've got Fotouaika, and then I don't know if I added my boy. No, I didn't have my boy in here. Sorry for that. We'll get that in there right this second, actually after Mofot. And then we're going to talk about Michael Molo, the GOAT. 551k for Mofot. And yeah, he's an interesting one. Coming off a really, really good score there of 70 and a 53. So you look there, the minutes are available for him over the last few weeks. 59, 62, and 65 across that time. But you can see there, he's had some bench games. He's had some starting games where he scores like near 40. And he's definitely come to life in the last 3 weeks. But is that something that's going to last? Really is my question at 551. Not the scariest of propositions, but it's still a decent price to spend on someone that you can't really be confident on what they're going to score week to week. Now that I'm thinking about it, guys like Stefano at like near 30k extra probably has potentially more upside. Mofot, is going to play the rest of the year, but consistency is just not there, and it wasn't there last year either. He had the odd good game, 75 into a 30, into a 36, into an 80, into 29. That's just wild and madness. So, yeah, probably a no for me. Now I'm looking at it. Now, when Tino comes back, Haas is going to be a little bit out of favour in terms of minutes, but you saw here the last 2 weeks, 40 and 46, a 54 in 60 minutes there. Chris Randall does return to the side, which changes things a little bit for him and this squad. Minutes-wise, you're probably going to expect somewhere closer to the 50 mark. It will be decent scores. It is at a decent price, but if Tino does come back, you'll see him return most likely to an interchange position like you've seen in the weeks the weeks preceding Tino's out. Him being out 29 minutes, 17, 41, all makes it a little bit tough to get around it for Haas, I think, at this point. All right, I just forgot to do that again, so we're going to do it after. Let's just do it now, and then we'll talk about Mr. Christopher Randall. But Michael Molo, I think he's the best pick at 450, and it's not even close. So you can see here when he gets an opportunity to play decent minutes, he's had a 44 and 80 in the slop. He's had a 43 in the prop position in 56 minutes, and then a 62 in 80 minutes against the Raiders. Surprisingly, he's played the Raiders in his 2 80-minute performances have both been against the Raiders within 5 weeks. So the NRL draw is an incredible specimen. Interchange he played to begin 2024, and he went 40, 35, and 35 in 48, 39, and 40 minutes. So he is a workhorse, and that is the best part of it. So just looking at, even just going further back, he has, some pretty solid PPM, but he has improved in his recent little stint. So just looking at 2025 in itself there, the second row games hurt the PPM, but he works hard. It's 30.6 tackles for 1 miss, which is massive, and still gets decent run meters at 91 in the average across the 5 games there, including bench games. So that part's impressive, and he can play middle and he can play edge as well. And I think he keeps the spot, to be honest with you. Jaden Sewer is probably the main question mark, and I should actually check that one. And then we'll go through Randall as well. So something you guys should have a check on as well is looking at Jaden Sewer injury, and he will tell you. There you go, 25th of July. Jaden Sewer, season over. So pretty safe, basically, is what we're going to gather from that one for Michael Molo and his position. Now, Christopher Randall at 532k. I was just looking at him before I jumped on, and there's a bit to like, right? But then there's a bit to worry about. So 2025, you can look at him in the second row position, and it's a 45.6 average this year, which does include that lovely 20 in 71 minutes a few weeks ago when both Fermor got 29. And I was thinking about buying Bowie this week, and I was like, well, if I get Randall as well, that would be both edges, and that could be worrisome. It could be great at the same time, but a 29 to 20, that would absolutely kill my season. So I may just avoid it for that reason alone. 45 points. It's only 5 above where he's at, so it's okay. If you need some hooker cover to go along with some mid, and at that price, it's fine. But do you just go for like Michael Molo, who may just be safer and cheaper, and you can do something else with the rest of the cash? Bo Fermor, the best center replacement this week. Like, he has the upside. He has the odd lower game, as we've seen, but a good one on the weekend for him with a 53 in, still having 3 errors. So he hasn't played well the last 3 weeks, but before that was super consistent, and then has the upside games as well. Take out the center games, and it's a really, really nice season there for him. If you just go straight to second row for 2025, it's a 57 average. So yes, you got the 109 in there, but he's got lots of 60s, lots of 50s, and great work. So he's the simple pick this week, priced at 47, potential for 10 points of upside there, which is crazy. So he'll probably come into my side. Now, the guy I want in my side, very, very expensive at Kuipers Paul at 701k, 56.6 average. He's got one of the best averages rolling around right now, and you can just see great scores here. I keep giving Mitch crap for selling him. I just didn't understand. Like, it was the sell after this one bad score of 38. And outside of that, his lowest score of the year is 45, and it was just like a bit low on everything. It had a couple of penalties, like just a weird situation for people that were looking to move him on, and he got dropped down. He's at 35% top 100, 23% top 1,000. So he's in a spot where a lot of people don't have him, and he's kind of a point of difference guy. For someone that has the last 3 weeks of 61, 61, and 71 with 1 try, he is offloading the footy at will in certain games. He goes for 3 and 4. He's done that twice in the last 3 weeks. He's running the footy. His tackle numbers are awesome, going in at an average of 40 tackles a game. For a back rower who plays 80 minutes, it's absolutely awesome to have some type of attack at over 1 offload a game. So I love his game at the moment. Just the price point is hard to get to. So him or Preston, I actually would be picking Kuipers Paul. I just don't think he gets rested. They're going to milk him for all he's worth until he moves to the Tigers. And for the Dogs and Preston, there's chance of resting risk as well. And he just doesn't have the consistency that Kuipers Paul has. So for a 5-game stretch, Preston could be the guy, but Kuipers Paul could also easily be the guy if Preston has 2 down games. So I love Presto, but he hasn't had the consistency this year over the long stretch that you would have wanted. He scored a lot of tries, and that's helped him out getting to the 50 some weeks. And you can see here, the last 2 weeks have been awesome. 2 line breaks and a try across that time, but he has 41, a 29, low 50s, and different things like that. So they're both great picks. If you have the extra 30 odd K, I do suggest Kai just, and he's more of a point of difference, but Preston will definitely do at 665 as well. I would pick both of them over Huddy Young at the moment. Yes, he hasn't scored a try, and he's probably due one, given he's had like 6 weeks off. So there will be a time I think he gets back into the 70s. I'm just worried about this buy and then the resting risk at the back end of the game, at back end of the year. So unless you have sort of 6, 7, 8 trades, I think it's hard to buy Huddy if you got like 3 or 4. Jermaine McEwen, a definite cash down still at 369k. He is in a spot where he just sort of, getting a starting position and having the ability to score anywhere between mid-30s and sort of 50, I think pretty comfortably for a guy priced at 27 is absolute gold to sit in your 19th, 20th man. Very, very easy. Jackson Ford, I still think, is a really nice pick at 6.35 with Fisher Harris a decent chance to not play this week. He is in a great spot to continue doing the work and putting in that effort that he has all season. Now, if you go through 2025 and filter it, let's just go by minutes rather than starting and just go over 50 minutes there. He's actually averaging 55 in 61 minutes. And you can see here in the previous 4 weeks, he's gone over 60 minutes in all 4 very comfortably and hit a 58, a 43, a 64, and a 53. So he's someone priced at 47. I think we can get close to a 50-odd collection of scores from him. And really, since Barnett has been out the side, he's played bigger minutes off the interchange and then in this starting spot as well. More when Fish has been in and out. And even across that time, it's a couple of 50s, a 73, 50s as well, a 60 in that off the bench. So a really, really good pick this week. And he was last week as well. So well done to owners. And yeah, just a great price point with dual position eligibility and a really nice run to finish. Angus Crichton. Do you pick Crichton over Ford? I don't know. Like, it's an interesting situation. Like, just Crichton has been relying on tries. You see here 2 tries in the last 3 weeks. Still getting low 50s, but just getting there in unconventional ways. And it's more looking at it like, how many Roosters do you have as well? Like, do you want to be all in on the Roosters bus when they have the odd good, easier game in there? But they're just a weird team. They're up and down fantasy scoring wise. So yeah, Ford could be a better pick than Crichton, surprisingly enough. And then EKatoa, 6.94. He's still a great pick. There's no reason why you wouldn't jump into Ellie at that price point. Yes, you might not get the extreme upside, and with a fairly sort of tough run of games that they do have, like, it's something to think about. But you can see here, he still has 60s and 70s in his game, and he's still an aerial target from Munster. It'll just be more if Wishart can get involved a bit more and give him better footy. Cam Munster, priced at 47. I do expect him to hit in the 50s, and I feel like he's a very, very safe pick this week at 630k. The base stats were awesome last week, and he's had a fair few games there, to be fair. 30 plus tackles, heaps of high 20s games, so that part will somewhat stay. Missed tackles, he can be anywhere from 1 to 6, so 3's in the middle. Running the footy, yeah, probably pretty low compared to other weeks you've seen from him, and kick meters was the big increase there, and just the ball going through him more than other guys. So forced dropouts are going to come off that kicking, and the try assist will come as well. So base stat wise and potential for attack is increasing at 630k and priced at 47. He could be the pick for you this week, and maybe the pick for me. We'll see how that one plays out. Sammy Walker at 564, I think, is a bit of a fun decision here. He's got back-to-back-to-back 50s, which is great. 49, 53, 51. When I say back-to-back-to-back, he's averaging over 50 across that time. Kicking goals, getting try assists. He's a maestro with the little dabs and bits and pieces there. Very limited on the kicking in general play. Like, Hugo actually kicked a fair bit more, which did hurt him a little bit. Not his scoring exactly, but he had to get the attacking stats and reduce the negatives and stuff like that to get through it. But I think that he'll play every single game from here. The run is fine. So Sam Walker at 560 is probably one of the better picks that you can get around across this week. So a super fun one to have a look at, and yeah, I think is great. So jump in it. Ty Wishart, 351k for him. Now he's one of the other better cash outs as well. I thought the 37 last week was actually great. 38, what do you get? Yeah, 37, 36 in the end. Just in base. So if he has any attack and missed tackles can go down to, he's going to be 2, 3, 4 pretty regularly there. I just think that high 30s is at 351k. It's going to be happy days, and there will be games he scores above that. This year when he's played in halves, he's been like an early 40s guy. So yeah, late 30s to early 40s type of thing will be his thing, and he has 50s in his game like we saw last year. So a very good cash down option. IKatoa at 719. He didn't have his best game, not even close on the weekend. His run meters was the lowest of the year, of course, the week I bought him. So very, very sorry to everyone who said that I cursed him, because I think I did. Thankfully, missed tackles weren't too bad there, but 27 and 57 run meters the last 2 weeks. If we can get that back up into the hundreds, I'll be very much appreciative of that, Isaiah. And it's still owned by not everyone, so somewhat of a pod type of pick, and should do a good job for you. Now, Thomas Dearden at 704k, a fun little pick, 100%, because you've got the big upside of him, like we've seen, and you're looking at the run they've got: Parramatta, Newcastle, Tigers, and Broncos. The bye is the worry, clearly, but these guys here can absolutely put on a show, and we know Dearden we can just trust with our lives. They got smacked on the weekend, and he had a sin bin and still got 43. So kick meters are there. It's working well. Does have Clifford returning, which may drop his kick meters, but his running game's been phenomenal and is a fun point of difference type play. Speaking of those, and shout out to Austin for having Timoko for a while now, he has come back with a bang this season. Got down to 487 before absolutely exploding there with back-to-back 50s. The tries, apart from the last 2 weeks, haven't really been there, but his running game and in general, his running game and tackle breaking game has been awesome. So he is still a fun centre pick this week. There's other guys like Fermor, as I said, just seem a lot safer, but for Matty Boy, it's just such a good spot. So I think he is a fun play. If you're looking to win a head-to-head this week, then that's really cool. If you can win that head-to-head, get the bye next week, it doesn't really matter, because you don't need him if you're a head-to-head player. So that part's more fun than overall. Dan Gagai at 608k. He is a centre with in the fullback position, kicking goals, doing all the good stuff there. So he's in a fun spot to continue doing well. It's more the fact that he plays Penrith this week, but then it's Cowboys. Broncos can be fun. Cronulla, Parramatta can all be fun clashes there. So it's just this one. Although, you can see there, Titans put on a clinic there in the back end in the second half there. Brimson was awesome. So there's no reason why Gagai can't do that. And he's definitely a fun pick. Jacob Kiraz, still have to mention him. He has the clear upside there. An 80, 85, 100. So, you can't say that he's not a pick. Most people own him, but there's still a few that don't. And if you don't, definitely consider it. But do you need a centre or a wing fullback, or do you go for a different position? And then Dylan Edwards at 704k. He is in a spot there where he's priced right up now, and their run gets a little bit harder. But he's still going to be one of the best wing fullbacks in the game here. Nothing says that he shouldn't, apart from their run. So he's got plenty of talent. We saw there in that first half. He managed to get near 40 very quickly. And that did fall away for him in that second half as well. And he only ended up on the 43. But in general, he's going to still have the good game in him or two. Big run meters, he'll have the assists, he'll have the tries. Just he may have like a 30 or 40 in a tougher type of clash. Now, one person that may be back this week is actually Latrell Mitchell. And we know if he's back and firing, they play the Titans, Parramatta, St. George. They do have a bye, but if he's there, he could be such a fun pick over the next few weeks. So keep him in your thoughts. There's something there, and there's plenty of excitement. So if he gets an opportunity, he could make or break a season. He could win a comp, head-to-head comp. He can win your overall. There's different things with Latrell because he has the tremendous upside that other guys do not have. So keep him in your thoughts. We wanted him before. Coming back from an injury, though, does he play this week? Is it next week? Heaps of things to think about with Latrell. Reece Walsh at 582k. The bloke continues to hit 50s, which is great news. Since his return, he's missed 50 once and he got 45. So that's 6 weeks now. Can't say too much. He's doing a great job. And the team's run is generally good outside of the 2 Melbourne clashes. And Melbourne may rest players in that final one. So that punt's interesting. Priced at 43. So he's not super expensive at 582. I think he's a really solid pick, but he's risky and low end. Sorry, guys. Running out of voice for the end. Brian To'o to finish this one off at 484k. He is the fun pick of the week if you need a cheaper wing fullback that has upside. We know it's there for him. He only has 4 tries this year. 4, which is ridiculous. So it will come. When will it come? Is he injured? Is he going to get a rest? All these kind of questions, but that would be the risk you take in buying Brian To'o. All right, we'll leave it there, guys, before I lose my voice. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the holds and sells next.